Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are now entering the 15th chapter of Gita. This chapter is called by the Lord Himself as the Shastra. Iti guyyatam shastram idamuktam mayanagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha bharata. So, this chapter is, that way the whole Bhagavad Gita is the Shastra, but this chapter is specially glorified by the Lord Himself. What could be the reason? The reason is, the essence of all the Vedas is Upanishad, and the essence of all the Upanishads are Bhagavad Gita. And the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita is this 15th chapter. That is why this chapter is chanted before taking food, so that we remember the Lord. Now, what is the special thing that this chapter is given so much importance? Because in this chapter, everything concerning the truth is brought out in a very few verses and yet exhaustively. So what is the Jagat? Then what is the Jiva? Then who is the Ishvara? Then who is the one who is the support of this Jiva Jagat Ishvara? And how do we get into this? So all these things are included in this chapter. Therefore, this is glorified by Bhagwan Himself as well as by all the great masters. Bhagwan Shankaracharya begins, Yasmat madadhinam karminam karma phalam jnaninam cha jnana phalam ataha bhakti yogena mam ye sevante mad prasadat jnana prapti kramena gunatita moksham gachanti kim vaktavyam atmanah tattvam eva samyak vijanantah iti ato bhagavan arjunena aprishtam api atmanah tattvam vivakshuhu uvacha urdhva moolam ityadi. Because I am the one who is the bestower of the results of karma to those who are doing the karma, and jnaninam cha jnana phalam, and I am the one who is the dispenser of the result of the jnana, and therefore those who seek me through devotion, bhakti yogena mam ye sevante, mat prasadat, because of my grace, by the step by step evolution from the karma purification, from the devotion single pointedness, and as a result become fit for knowing the reality. Therefore jnana prapti kramena gunatitaha bhavanti. They attain the state of gunatita and thereafter moksham gachanti. And this is how they attain liberation and freedom. Now, if this is so, then kimu vaktavyam atmanaha tattvam eva samyak vijanantaha. Then what to talk about? Those who know themselves, those who know the essence of their own existence. And therefore, although Arjuna has not asked any question, yet extremely eager to tell Arjuna this Atma Jnana, extremely eager to reveal to Arjuna this self-realizing absolute reality as one's own being. Therefore, Bhagwan Sri Krishna begins this 15th chapter on his own. Now see, here we'll take a little pause and see what we have studied in Bhagavad Gita up to 14th chapter and then enter this 15th chapter. As we have discussed a number of times, because we are studying according to Bhagwan Shankara's commentary, we will stick to that mainly. We have seen that what is the cause of the miseries in this world. So the cause of the misery is only moha, not knowing one's own essential self, identity crisis, and therefore mistaking oneself to be something else, and as a result of which we suffer in this world. So this topic of identity crisis and moha prasanga is brought out in the first chapter. Now such people who are under this identity crisis and influence of moha delusion, they are obsessed with their own standpoint and they are extremely miserable, and then they want somebody to support their foolishness. This is how such people are highly argumentative. And this is what has happened in the first chapter of Gita. Yesterday somebody came to meet me. Swamiji, I have a guru, he is Grahastha, white clothes, but when he closes eyes and talks, it is so nice, he tells very great things. And he tells me not to do what I want to do. So I kept quiet. I want to leave my house, my husband, my children, go to some ashram and do some seva of the Mahatmas and everything. And he tells, no, you do seva of your husband, your children, your in-laws and be there. That is the right thing for you. Now you tell me at least, if you give permission, I will do that. I said, your Guru Maharaj must be great, you should listen to him. And then I asked her, I said, why you want to go? Oh, this children don't listen, the husband is like that and in-laws are like that. So what are you doing? Actually you are running away. And you are glorifying your going away as you want to go and serve Mahatmas and be on the spiritual path. See, exactly case like Arjun. So, then she said, but Swamiji, God isn't God everywhere, so why only serve the husband? And I said, Amma, I am not here to discuss with you anything. Cut short, take 2 chocolates and disappear. Do whatever you like. No, Swamiji, actually, I said, do you know what is your problem? Your problem is you are more wise than required. Gatasuna gatasuscha nanushocanti panditaha and pradnyavadamscha bhashase. You are talking all wisdom, but behaving like a fool. This is the problem of our life, which is presented in the first chapter. Now to such a person, the language which he can understand only should be used. So like Bhagavan Krishna began, Klaibhyam Masma Gama Partha, and then after having shaken him through the simple technique of common sense, and this common sense slowly brings into his cognition how there is no way but to accept the realities of life and go ahead, don't react. And then only you will know something higher. And what is that higher? Then in the first part, Bhagavan speaks about the absolute reality. And when he is talking about absolute reality, but when it comes to Arjun, there he says, as regards you are concerned, you should follow the karma, karmanyeva adhikaraste. Because by that only your intellect will become steady and you will not react in a wrong manner. Yada te moho kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gandasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya. Now you are too confused. Thereafter, having told the attributes of the Sthita Prajna Purusha, a man of steady wisdom, then in the third chapter, Arjuna again raises a question regarding, if steady wisdom is so important, why you ask me to engage in this terrible war? So Bhagavan says, look here, everything is not for everyone. You must know, apni awqat pehchano. You must know what is your position. You are so buried under this funny thing that my grandfather, my guru and my brothers and sisters and all that. So for you that is not there. You do your job. But how to do the job? Karma Yoga is told. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashi nirmamo bhutva judyasva vigatajvara. And then this knowledge which I told you, Arjun, it is not a new experiment on you. This I have told also to Bhagwan Surya Vivasvan. The same thing I told. Then Arjuna asked the question in the 4th chapter, how it is possible? So the avatar is explained. Ajopi sannavyatma bhutanam ishvaropi san. And the purpose of that is to bring to his cognition that karmani akarma yaha pashet akarmani cha karma yaha sa buddhiman manusheshu sa yukta sa krishna karma krut. The only way to get out of this karma chakkar is recognizing that prakrute kriyamanane gune karmani sarvashaha. Everything is happening in the prakriti. You keep yourself away out of it. And for that, focus your attention on Paramatma. Therefore, Brahmarpanam Brahmavi Brahmagnu Brahmanavada. Then in the 5th chapter, Bhagavan again tells the practice that do not be extremist, be a balanced one. Sannyasa karma yogascha nishresa karau ubhau. Both are required, doing karma as well as withdrawal from the karma. And then you practice naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manneta tattvavid. So remove the doership. And when you will remove the doership, you will come to a point vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavihastini sunijaiva shvapakecha panditaha samadarshinaha. You will attain samatva. And when you will attain samatva, then only you will become qualified for something higher, meditation, etc. What you are wanting to attain by leaving the battlefield and going. But you are not qualified now. Then in the 6th chapter, again Bhagavan Sri Krishna begins. Anashritaha karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. He who is keeping himself busy according to the requirement without any attachment to the karma or the karma phala, he is called a sannyasi yogi. And not the only one who is simply changing the color and frustrated inside. Thereafter, Bhagavan brings out the meaning of realization. Therefore, jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapa manayo. So what you are seeking in your life is this, paramatma samahitaha. Then what is that realization? 2 things. Shitoshna sukha dukkheshu jitatmanaha, when the pairs of opposite do not influence your mind, and manapa manayo prashantasya, when your tranquility, peace does not get disturbed by the honor and dishonor, then you are nearer to the Lord. And for that, the yoga marga is told. And after you are done the physical aspect of the yoga, then in the same 6th chapter, Bhagavan talks about the Tattvamasi Mahavakyopadesh, that Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmannevanu Pashyati Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So, this samatva has to come as a result of the yoga abhyas and not only the health or disease. In this manner, he who is able to see oneness in the whole world, Atmaupamena Sarvatra Samam Pashyati Arjuna, such a yogi is great indeed. And if somebody doesn't complete yoga marga, what happens? Next life he will continue. He is born in Kaivalya Dham. After that, the new topic begins from the 7th chapter. wherein Bhagavan speaks about the Tat Pada. What is that Paramatma for whom everything has to be done? Because toward the end of the 6th chapter, Bhagavan tells the same thing, that he who is doing all his yoga and everything, but for whose sake he is doing? So he is doing everything for the sake of the self or the Paramatma or the Bhagavan. Such a person alone is really a great one. Therefore, yoginam api sarveshan madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamavata. So, toward the end of the 6th chapter, the topic of Shraddha is brought out and introduction to the devotion to the Lord begins. Thus, from the 7th chapter onward, we talk about the Lord up to the 11th chapter, up to the 12th chapter. And then in the 12th chapter, again Bhagavan says, he who has thus practiced devotion as shown in the description of a great devotee, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, he is the best among all my devotees. And when such a devotee is ready, to him the 13th chapter is addressed, that Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Discover this, that there are not many Kshetrajnas, but there is one. And after having finished this Kshetrajna Yoga in the 13th chapter, which we have recently done, we are very clearly given the picture of how the Purusha and Prakriti are separate. And thereafter in the 14th chapter, Prakriti, which is Trigunatmika, is explained with a view so that we can go beyond the 3 gunas. And when such a seeker who has gone beyond the 3 gunas, he is great indeed, because he merges Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, and this is attained through devotion. Thus, after having completed the 14th chapter, Bhagavan says, in the last chapter I told, Brahmano hi pratisthaham amrutasya avyayasya cha. So I am the one who is the dispenser of the karma phala for the karmi. And I am the one who is the dispenser of the jnana phala for the seeker of truth. Therefore, those who are gunatita, those who want to attain liberation, get out of this. So how they are able to attain this I have told you. And therefore, those who know this truth, what to talk about them? They will definitely. So to tell this truth, Bhagavan begins now the 15th chapter. So, Atmanaha Tattvam Vivukshuhu Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Ityadi. So to tell about his own self, the Parabrahma, Paramatma, Purushottama, Bhagavan begins the 15th chapter. Now, how he begins the 15th chapter? Tatra tavat vruksharupa kalpanaya vairagya hetoho samsara swarupam varnayati viraktasya hi samsarat bhagavat tattva jnane adhikaro na anyasya iti. Tatra tavat. Now how this 15th chapter begins? Vruksharupaka kalpanaya samsara swarupam varnayati. He explains or describes this world of relativity with a presentation as if this samsara relativity is like a tree. So vruksha rupaka kalpanaya. Now what for it is said, vairagya hetoho, so that we will have vairagya, dispassion about this world. See, we have normally attraction or disattraction or hatred for something only out of ignorance. If you just observe this, suppose you like something or suppose you don't like something, what is the reason? No reason. And if you know something that this one which I was liking so much is so bad, then it is going to destroy me, automatically dispassion will be kindled out of knowledge. Therefore, the disliking or dispassion born out of knowledge is a spiritual practice, and disliking or dispassion born out of ignorance is bondage. See? How? We have dispassion and disliking for spiritual life out of ignorance. Therefore, it is a bondage. We continue in this relative world. And we have dispassion and disliking about the indulgence, worldly things, out of knowledge, because virajya vishaya vrata dosha drushtya mumurmuhu shobhava martyasya yadantakaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. Because of this contemplative understanding, we have now dispassion about the world born out of wisdom. Therefore, it becomes a means of spiritual evolution. And here also, tatra tavad vriksha rupak kalpanaya vairagya hetoho samsara swarupam varnayati. So the purpose of describing this world as the tree of creation, the purpose is vairagya. One should develop vairagya. Because viraktasya hi samsarat, he who is having total dispassion about the worldly life or the relativity, Bhagavad Tattva Jnane Adhikaraha, he alone is qualified to know the truth. Otherwise, those who are involved in the worldly things, they will go to Bhagavan to ask for more of the world, not Bhagavan. So there, in that case, Bhagavan becomes the means and the world becomes the goal. But what should happen? That our worldly experiences should become the means and Paramatma should become the goal. And this why this does not happen? Because of lack of dispassion. And therefore we get more and more entangled in this world. So viraktasya hi samsaran bhagavata tattvajnane adhikaro na anyasya, and not of anyone else. The one who is extremely involved in the worldly things, he doesn't want. And such people say, oh, Bhagavad Gita, that is for the old age. It is not for the young. Young people should live like young people. Now, with this, Bhagavan Sri Krishna begins, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moola Madhashakham Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavita. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Bhagavan Sri Krishna now is revealing the tattva, the essence, the absolute in this chapter. Urdhvamulam adashakham ashvatham avyayam prahuhu. And asya ashvathasya parnani chandamsi. Yaha tam ashvatham veda saha vedavit. This is how the anvaya, the prose order of this verse is. Now, what is the meaning of urdhva moola? Urdhva moola doesn't mean a tree which is doing Shirshasana. You know, the legs are up, spread like this, and then the head is down. Why? This is urdhva moola. No, that is not urdhva moola. Urdhva moolam kalataha sukshmatvad karanatvad nityatvad mahatvacha urdhvam uchyate brahma. See? Brahma is called as urdhvam. Now why it is called as urdhvam? Because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because of the 5 reasons. First of all, kalataha. Because when you talk about something as earlier, then it is considered to be superior. And this Brahman is beyond the time, therefore the superior most, therefore urdhvam, beyond time. Then sukshmatvat, it is subtler than the subtlest, and therefore it is called as urdhvamulam. then karanatvad, this being the cause of total relativity, therefore it is called as urdhva moolam. Urdhva, superior, higher. Then nityatvad is because it is kalataha, beyond time, therefore nitya, eternal, never influenced by the time. And mahatvad, and bigger than the biggest. And because of all these things, cha urdhvam uchyate brahma. Therefore, Brahma is mentioned by the word urdhva. So, urdhva moolam. So, it is that samsara vriksha, that tree of relativity, whose moola is Brahman. Or, in more popular language, all the relativity is supported by the Absolute. All the directions, 10 directions are supported by one absolute space. And therefore, space is the cause and the absolute on which the directions are only superimposed, imagined. Therefore, in this samsara vriksha, the reality is Paramatma and all other things are illusions. This is the meaning, urdhva moolam. So, Brahma uchyate and avyakta maya shaktimat tad moolam asya iti saha ayam samsara vrikshaha urdhva moolaha. So, this avyakta parabrahma paramatma, avyakta maya shaktimat, when this parabrahma paramatma invokes his own unmanifest maya shakti, then he becomes the moola, the cause of the relative world. Otherwise, from the absolute reality point of view, there is no world. And therefore, when we are referring to this world, we are referring to the Karana, Sopadhika Brahma, and not the Shuddha Brahma. So, avyakta maya shaktimat tad moolam asya iti saha ayam samsara vrikshaha urdhva moolaha. Therefore, this urdhva moolam vriksham, that means this samsara is abiding in, supported by, existing in, pervaded by this absolute Parabrahma, who invoking his own infinite Maya Shakti has created this expanse of multiplicity. And Shrute cha urdhva moolo avakshakaha, Kathopanishadi it is said, urdhva moolo avakshaka ishvashasta puratanaha. Similarly, Purane cha, and also in the Puranas it is said, what is said? Avyakta moola prabhavaha tasyaiva anugrahottitaha buddhiskandamayaschaiva indriyantara kotaraha mahabhuta vishakhascha vishayai patravastatha dharma dharma supushpascha sukha dukkha phalodayaha ajivya sarva bhutanam brahma vriksha sanatanaha etad brahmavanam chaiva brahma charati nityashaha etad chitva cha bhitva cha jnanena paramasinam tataschatmaratim prapya tasman navartate punaha. Now he has quoted from some Purana, which Purana is not written here. So, avyakta moola prabhavaha, this samsara is born out of this Parabrahma Paramatma, which is supported by, conditioned by, or by his own avyakta namni shakti, and tasya anugraha utthitaha, and by the grace of the Lord, maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharan. By his grace alone, this is growing. And what is the growth of buddhiskanda mayaschaiva indriyantara kotaraha? And here the intellect is the main in the trunk, etc. And there are many holes in that trunk called as the sense organs. And the great Panchamahabhutas are the different branches, and on those there are small beautiful leaves as the objects. And dharma, adharma, these are the two types of flowers which come on this tree. And sukha dukkha, joy and sorrows, are the phala, the results that you get on this tree. And this is the tree of all the great bhutas, all the great elements, and this is called as the Brahmavana, and it is here in this world alone that the Brahma resides. And therefore, he who thus destroys the vrukshatva, the relativity aspect, by the asi, means by the sword of knowledge and discrimination, he attains oneness with Absolute, and thereafter he never returns back. Thus, this Urdhva Mula, referring the samsara relative existence as a tree, is the most scientific explanation given over here. Now, tat Urdhva Mulam samsara mayamayam vruksham. Now, this Urdhva Mula, the samsara, which is mayamayam, which is the expression of the Paramatma's Maya, Shakti, adhashakham, it has got lower branches. Which are the lower branches now? Mahada ahankara tanmatradayaha. Now, if you remember the picture of what we studied in Bhagavad Gita as well as in Patanjali Yoga Darshan, the avyakta prakriti, then below that comes the mahat or the buddhi tattva, then from that comes the asmita and the panchatanmatras, and from the asmita come the ekadashendriyani, and from the panchatanmatras come the pancha vishaya, the indriyartha. So this is how the tree is, starting from above and growing down wider and wider. This tree is something like, the family tree. Like, our first person in our family was Vishwamitra. How do you know? Because our Gotra is Vishwamitra. Very good. And then Vishwamitra had so many children. And then from that, like that it grows. This is how one Urdhva Mula. And then Adhashakam Mahad Ahankara Tanmatradayaha. So starting from the Mahad Tattva, then Ahankar Tattva, and then Ahankar again 3 types, and from that the Dhanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Panchatanmatras and Pancha Mahabhutas, everything is born. So Shakha iva asya adho bhavanti iti saha ayam adhashakaha. So adha also means the effect, or it means the expansion, both. Like from the tree, from the roots, the effects come out in the form of the trunk or the branches. In the same manner, from this Prakriti, the world started expanding. Now, tam adhashakam na shvaha api sthata iti ashvathaha. Now, this vruksha is called as ashvatha. Ashvatha means what? That which is constantly changing, that doesn't remain the same as it is today. Shva means tomorrow. Na shva api. What is today will not be tomorrow. And therefore, it is tam kshana pradhvam sinam. Every moment it is changing from one condition to another condition. So ashvatham prahu kathayanti avyayam. So this vriksha is called as ashvatham and avyayam. Why this is called as avyaya, not changing? One way you are saying it is constantly changing, ashvatham. Second thing, you are telling that it is not changing. How? Because samsara maya mayam anadikala pravrutatvat sa ayam samsara vrukshaya avyaha anadi anta dehe iti santana ashrayaha hi suprasiddhaha tam avyayam. Because this samsara has been always like that. There is nothing new in this world. It is without beginning, without end. And this is deha dehe santana ashrayaha, and it is supported by the body, and therefore this is called as avyayam. So this samsara has been always like that. There is nothing new, and therefore it is avyaya. Once you get this understanding about this world, you will see you can never get obsessed with anything. Just this is what is called as living in awareness. When you know that, like some people are This I learned from a child. Some people are, let us say, angry disposition. Now when you know that fellow is angry disposition, so accept it is okay, aisa hi hai. Why unnecessarily react? There is nothing that we should become angry about it also. So, discount. There are miseries in this world, yes, there are miseries. Politicians are so bad, yes, they are bad. Why you react and you become bad? Let them continue. But all the criminals are coming in the politics. Then you also join. Why you are feeling shy? Therefore, this has always been there. There is nothing new. If you take the history of the world, it always tells that in this world, the powerful criminals were always ruling this world. And the so-called simple goody-goody people, they have always suffered. So there is nothing new that you can do about it. It is like that. Don't waste your time on that. So, therefore, suprasiddha tam avyayam tasya eva samsara vrukshasya idam anyad visheshanam. Now the same samsara vruksha is further explained and described. What is that? Visheshanam, speciality. Chandamsi chadanat, achadanat. Chanda means that which covers. Chanda, which are the chanda? Rugyaju sama lakshanani. Chanda also means the Vedas. So, Chandamsi has now two meanings. Chanda means the Vedas and Chadana means covering. So, yasya parnani, samsara vrukshasya parnani iva. Now, what the leaves do to the trees? The life of the tree is seen from the quality of the leaves. If there is a tree which doesn't have the leaves at all, it looks so dead. If a tree doesn't have flowers, doesn't matter. If a tree doesn't have fruits, doesn't matter. But if the trees don't have any leaves, it looks like a dead. So the health and sustenance of the tree is from the beauty of the leaves of the tree. In the same manner, this samsara vrukshasya chandamsi Vedas are like the leaves. Yatha vrukshasya parirakshanaarthani parnani tatha Vedaha samsara vruksha parirakshanaartha dharma dharma hetu tat phala prakashanarthatvat. Like, the leaves protect the existence of the tree, in the same manner, the samsara vruksha is protected by the scriptural injunctions in the form of telling what is dharma, what is adharma, and what should be done, what should not be done. Thus, when there is dharma, this world is prosperous. When there is adharma, this world is destroyed. And who tells this? This is told by the scriptures. And therefore, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, meaning when from this world the importance of the scriptural injunctions, the Vedic culture disappears, I take birth as Bhagavan Krishna. Therefore, this is called as Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. The scriptures, Vedic injunctions and the lifestyle are the one which will protect the samsara vruksha. Now, yatha vyakhyatam samsara vruksham yaha tam veda sa vedavid vedarthavid ityartaha. He who understands this samsara vruksha along with samulam, along with the Brahman, which is the root of this world, he alone has known the real meaning of the Vedas, and he is called as the Vedavid. Do you remember in one of the mantra in Shvetashvatara Upanishad? He who has studied the Vedas and everything and all that, but he who doesn't know that which is being discussed in the Vedas, so what is the use of studying those Vedas? He who has not known his essential self and only went on studying Vedas, it is wastage. In the same manner, living in this world, and if we do not discover the Paramatma, we have wasted our time. Therefore, he who is able to see samulam ashvatha vruksham, this whole world as the expanse of Paramatma, and the whole world is contained in the cause, the root, the mool Paramatma, both ways. As the transcendental is the root and as the immanent is the world. In this way, he who knows this world, he alone has known the Vedas. Nahi samsara vrukshad asmad samulaya dneyaha anyaha anumatra api avashishtaha asti. No more than this samsara vruksha, there is nothing left to be known. Anumatra, nothing left to be known. Ataha sarvadnyaha yaha yo vedarthavid iti samula vrukshas jnanam stauti. And therefore, this glorification of this person who knows these Vedas, he knows that the whole world is Ishavastamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. He knows the world as the expanse of the Lord, and the Lord is far above his creation. In this manner, he who knows, he alone has known, others are only ignorant. Because other than this, there is nothing to be known. Now here, this is according to Bhagavan Shankara's commentary. Now let us dig more in these mantras. Because they really take us in a highly contemplative mood. Now these additional thoughts which I am talking, they are culled from other commentaries of other great masters. So they are also worthy of knowing. Which are those? First of all, Urdhva Moolamada Shakam Ashwatham Prahuhu Avyayam. Now Ashwatham was explained by Bhagavan Shankaracharya as that which does not remain the same as today and tomorrow. It changes. Now Ashwatham means what? Ashwa means horse. So Ashwavat Sthitam Ashwatham. What is the difference between a horse standing and a donkey standing? When a donkey is standing, you don't have to remember Sthita Prajnasya Kabhasha Samadhistasya Keshava. He is all the time in meditation on the road, nothing disturbed. But if it is a horse standing, he is extremely alert, dynamic. So this world is a constantly changing dynamic phenomena. Therefore Ashwatha. Second thing, Ashwatha means, this Ashwatha is nothing but the fig trees. Fig means those trees which belong to the genera of the people or the banyan tree or the audumbara. These all belong to the same category. Now, why this particular tree is chosen to explain Ashwatham? There is a reason. The reason is, you must have seen that these trees, they grow in such place where nobody can imagine. I have seen one somewhere very peculiar. I was so thrilled. There was one electric post abandoned. On the top of the electric post, there was one peepal tree growing. And the roots could not even touch the ground. All the roots were there, but they were still on that that electric post, cement post. And on that, there was a nice tree growing. So, I told my friend who was there, I said, see that tree where it is? He said, Swamiji, how that tree must be growing there? I said, this is called as Samsara Vruksha. Then I explained to him, I said, look here, when the fruits of this tree are eaten by the birds, and then when they are processed through the gastrointestinal tract of the bird, then it is excreted in their droppings, and then along with that those seeds also are dropped, and then those seeds become qualified for germination. If you take simple seeds of these plants and trees and try to put them, sow them, and see, it will never germinate. Therefore, now you know what Bhagavan said, in the 13th chapter, he said, Kshetra Kshetrajna Sanyogat. This whole world is born out of the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna. Now what is the Kshetra? Kshetra is the bird and Kshetrajna is that seed. So, or the other way around, whichever way you take, makes no difference. Unless the inert and the consciousness come together, there is no manifestation of the world. See? Only bird will not be able to produce the seed of the tree. Only seed will not be able to produce the tree. But when the seed or the fruits are eaten by the bird, processed through, then they become qualified. Therefore, this is called as Ashvatha, Kshetra Kshetra Sanyogat, born out of the union between the consciousness and the matter. Therefore, Kshetrajna, Ashvatham Prahu. Now, another one. Ashvatham Avyayam Prahu. Why the Ashvatha constantly changing is called as never changing? Because constant change is the only unchanging factor in this world. See how beautiful it is. The world has been changing. Change is the only unchanging factor. Therefore, taking this world and becoming serious about it and try to change the world. What is the meaning of changing the change world? That means the world should not change. This has never happened. And this is what makes people miserable. As the people grow, what was during their childhood is totally different. And in their old age, it is totally different. And there is always a generation gap. During our childhood, it was not like that. Now it is like that. Continue. You have to change along with the changes in this world. Therefore, Ashvatham Prahu Avyayam. Now one more aspect. In this Ashvatha Vriksha, in this constantly changing world, he who is able to see the unchanging principle, he alone has discovered the truth. See? Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman tamatmastham yenu pashyanti dhiraha shantim tesham shashvatim netaresham. They alone attained peace who have seen eko anekanam nityaha anityanam and chetanas chetananam. He who is able to see this avyaya tattva, he alone has yaha tam veda savedavid. Means what? Now see, again I read it in a different anvaya. Yaha tam avyayam veda saha vedavid. Because scriptures are not talking about the samsara. Scriptures are talking about Paramatma. Samsara is spoken of by the people. Because what is the purpose of describing this samsara vriksha? Asanga shastrena dudena chitva. It is not for glorifying the samsara. Therefore, the real understanding is yaha tam avyayam veda. He who is able to see this unchanging eternal substratum supporting all the changes in this relative world called as the samsara, he alone has known the truth. Yaha tam avyam veda savedavid. First. Now second thing. The question comes, how to know that avyaya tattva, paramatma tattva, in this constantly changing world? We don't know. If you don't know, then study Vedas. And therefore, chandamsi yasya paranani. So unless we take the support of the scriptural study, unless we are dedicated to the wisdom given by the scriptures, we will never be able to know how this Paramatma is the substratum of the superimposed world or the illusion of the relativity. So, Chandamsi scriptures, Vedas particularly, when we translate, Chandamsi means the scriptures, it is a compromise in translation. What is really meant is only Vedas. Because in the Vedas alone, this knowledge is given exhaustively. In all other scriptures, they talk only that much. That, you should not speak the lies, you should do this thing, and this thing, do this, that's it. No more further inquiry. The moment you start inquiring, you are condemned. That is why Upanishadic knowledge is not found everywhere. It is only in the Vedas. So, Chandamsi yasya paranani. So, if we want to see the avyaya, unchanging principle in this changing world, what is the source? The source is the Chandamsi. The Vedas, the Upanishad, they alone will help us. How they will help us? When we start leading our life according to the scriptural injunction, according to the dharma, adharma, when we lead our life with the proper discipline, not the licentious existence, to such a person alone, this avyaya tattva is recognized. So, Chandamsi yasya parnani yaha tam veda savedavid. So, yaha tam avyayam veda. He alone has really understood the meaning of these Vedas. Means what? Take an example. He who is looking at the ornaments and is knowing the gold, he alone has known the gold. He who is looking at the ornament and is not careful enough to go deeper behind the names and forms what is there, so he is enchanted by the glitter and the form of the ornaments and pays for that. And after coming home, after the third day, the gold plating disappears and the nonsense start appearing, and then there is nothing but misery. So the real joy in this world is only when, in this world of names and forms, when we are able to discover the gold called the avyaya tattva paramatma. Therefore, wise people live in this world and they are happy, because in this world they see Paramatma. Otherwise, people live in this world, they are miserable because they have not seen the Paramatma. Such people, they say, Sarvam Dukkhamayam Jagat, Sarvam Dukkhamayam Jagat. Naturally, when you are not seeing the substratum, you will suffer, you will be miserable. This is how, go on reflecting on this. And when you go further in this reflection, you will know that this tree is none other than you and me. How? Urdhva moolam. We eat from above. Adhashakam. Ashwatham, constantly changing. Urdhva moolam, adhashakam, ashwatham. Prahuhu, avyayam. We never feel that we have changed. Isn't it? Do we have any clearly demarcated experience that we have left the childhood and we have entered the adolescence, we have left the adolescence and we have entered the grown-up, and from there the middle age? Avyayam. It remains as if the same thing. Therefore, this Ashwatha Vriksha, don't have to see outside. You are the Ashwatha. And in this Ashwatha, how it is possible? Because of these two principles, the Prakriti and the Purusha. When this is more and more contemplated upon, yaha tam avyayam veda. He who is able to discover this unchanging principle in this tree of body, sa vedavid, he alone has known the meaning of the Vedas. Others are only collecting the information, becoming erudite. So, urdhva moolam adashakam ashwatam prahuravayam chandamsi yasya paranani yahatam avyayam atmatvena veda saha vedavid. He alone who knows this Avyaya Tattva as his own essential self, he alone is the real knower of the scriptures. All others are only running around here and there. Tasya eva samsara vrukshasya apara avayo kalpana uchyate. Now the same samsara vruksha is further explained. This is not the complete story of the samsara vruksha. Adashchordhvam prasrutastasya shakha. Guna pravruddha vishaya pravala. Adascha mulanyanusantatani. Karmanubandhini manushaloke. Adha manushadibhya yavat sthavaram. Now this tree has got now two types of branches. It was also said earlier adhashakham. Now this shakha, the main trunk, is further divided into sub-branches. Which are those? There also adhascha urdhvam prasruta tasya shakha. Of the samsara vruksha, there are again two types of branches, adha and urdhva. What are the adhashakha? Manushya dibhya yavat sthavaram adha. From the Manushya yoni up to the lowest one is called as the lower world, adhashakha. And urdhvam is what? Urdhvam is yavat brahma visva srijo dharma iti etat antam. So starting from the creator up to the Brahmaji and everything. So the higher world is the urdhva shakha. Means what? This samsara vruksha is not only what we see, this world, but it is also the lower world, starting from the human beings downward. So all the human beings and the animals, plant, as well as the satala, uttavitala, patala, rasatala, mahatala, 7 of them, and the upper urdhva is swaha, mahajanaha, satyam, tapaha, etc. So 7 upper. So all the Chaturdasha Bhuvanani, including the Martyalok, human, this is the meaning of expansion of this tree of samsara. And this is taken by the yogis and the Siddha Purushas as their place of play. So they say that after you do this much sadhana, you will go to Indralok, you will go to Siddhalok, and there you will have all the comforts, and there you don't have to pay the electric bill, and everything is so freely available. Na tatra tvam na jaraya bibheti ubheti atva ashanaya pipase shokatigo modate swargaloke. There, what is the Swarga? Swarga is that where old age and the death is not there. Why? There is no gross body. Then, Ashana Pipasa, hunger and thirst is not there. Why? Because there is no Pranamaya Kosh. So, gross body discarded, Pranamaya Kosh discarded. Shokati go modate Swargaloke. There is no shoka and the moha. Why? There is no mind. What is the use of such a life? But that is the heaven. This is how it happens, to most of the people who migrate from India to other overdeveloped countries. It is so nice here, Everything is clean and neat, and there is no disturbance, no traffic jam, and anything you want, you get it, and they go there. And after that, now okay, roads are beautiful, there is nobody to disturb. Then what will you do? Then start getting bored, and then start getting lost, because you are not accepted in that Western society 100%. You may want to go and mix with them, but they don't want you to come. See? Because there is a difference. This you can very easily appreciate when you go in the African continent. I remember where it happened. We used to go for a walk, and when we are going for a walk somewhere in South Africa only, so when the blacks will cross us, we'll never say hi, hello. But when the whites will cross, hey, hi, how are you? Nice day, have a good day. See? The same thing happens when the browns go among the whites. Do you think they accept you? And then you start feeling lonely. I had a friend long time back, this is in 60s. He was a Christian, George, from Kerala. And he went for studies in Canada. Before completion of his study, he came back to India. I said, hey, you had gone, what happened? Yeah, I just don't want to talk about that. I said, what happened? He said, 60s, about 40, 50 years before. I was not entertained even in a barber shop because I am black. He said, I was feeling so disgusted. Then anywhere we go, the first thing we are told that you are not white. And therefore he said, nothing like our India. India is best, and I came back. The same thing happens with the Muslims. When they go in the Middle East, in the main hub of the Muslims, there do you think that Indian Muslims and other Muslims are accepted by the Arab Muslims? No. They have got a separate mosque, they have got a separate thing. They are not allowed. So these kind of things exist everywhere. So, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam Ashwatham, this world is further expanded. The higher world and the lower world. And in this higher and lower world, you go and stay in the Swarga. Oh, it's all comforts and all that. Now, how long will you remain there? Till your visa is valid. Again, Kshine Purne Marte Lokam Vichanti. Those who are poor and from poverty, if they go to the riches, they have no problem. But those who are rich, and from the riches, if they have to come to the poverty, then see their life is disgusting. They cannot take it. Therefore, many people, they leave US, etc., come back to stay in India, and again become disgusted and go back. They say, if we have to be disgusted, why not to be comfortably disgusted than being here? But they don't want to change themselves. That is the whole problem. Therefore, this Vishaya, this samsara is the lower worlds and the higher worlds. All categories. Adashtordam prasruta tasya shakha. And how they go in those various worlds, here Bhagavan Shankara gives, Yatha karma yatha shrutam jnana karma phalani tasya vrukshasya shakha iva shakhaha. So this world, vriksha, has got the different worlds, different lokas, depending upon yatha karma yatha shrutam. Whatever you have heard, according to that you do the karma and you try to get that. Yatha karma yatha shrutam. See, I remember long time back, maybe in 50s or so, I used to have that funny notion that I should get, that siddhi by which I don't have to take food and I don't have to drink water. Like one or two Mahatmas, life histories I have read, I thought I should have that. And then one I spotted in Rajasthan. And by the time I could, make everything so that I can go there and see that Mahatma, that Amma, she had already died. I said, my God, I will have to eat my whole life now. But as you slowly grow, then you understand that has nothing to do with your spiritual progress. See? What is required is to know your essential nature. Doesn't matter whether you eat or you don't eat. Yoga Abhyas will make you superior than others as regards your powers are concerned. But your individuality becomes stronger and stronger. That we forget. Therefore, what is real spiritual practice is not strengthening this ego but getting out of it. Therefore, this yatha karma yatha shrutam jnana karma phalani tasya vrukshasya shakha iva. So with this knowledge and the karma, the samsara vruksha is now expanding. Prasruta pragata guna pravruddha gunaihi sattva tamobihi pravruddha sthuli kruta upadana bhutaihi. Therefore, these various kinds of bodies, various kinds of experiences, all of them are created out of these three gunas. So, urdhvam gacchanti sattvastaha, madhye tishtanti rajasaha, jaganya gunavrittistaha, adho gacchanti tamasaha. In this manner, these three gunas are responsible for the expansion of the samsara vriksha. And further, Vishaya pravalaha shabdadayaha pravalaha iva dehadi karma phalebhyaha shakhabhyaha ankuri bhavanti iva tena Vishaya pravalaha shakhaha. Now, on these various branches of the samsara vriksha, there are many trees, many branches called as the bodies. So, what we are discussing about this tree of samsara, we are also the branches. And on their branches there are beautiful and very beautiful looking small little leaves coming out. And which are those leaves? Vishaya pravalaha shabdadayaha. So through the body we are constantly hungry in enjoying the various objects, shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. So these 5 types of objects are the leaves which are glorifying and beautifying this world. Vishaya pravalaha. So ankuri bhavanti. So therefore pravala means not the old leaves which are told in the last verse. Pravala means those who are just very small, when they are just sprouted out, then they look so beautiful and delicate. They are called as pravala, Vishaya pravalaha. Then samsara vrukshasya paramamulam upadanam karanam purvamuktam athaidanim karma phala janita raga dveshadi vasana mulani iva dharma adharma pravritti karanani avantar bhavini tani adahacha devadi apekshaya mulani anusantatani. Now the remaining is adascha mulani anusantatani. We have been already told one mula, one root, what is the urdhva moolam, it is told. Now adhascha mulani, now there are many roots. See? Original is the Brahma, and there are secondary roots also. You must have seen, when we go toward the gate, we have there, that big banyan tree. And there are adventitious roots hanging from the other branches of the tree. Now these adventitious roots, they go and they also join the earth, and thereafter the tree starts becoming stronger and stronger. You just cannot uproot it, because somewhere or the other it is tied down. Therefore, which are these? Adascha mulani anusantatani, where from the additional roots have come. So it is said, mulani anusantatani anupravishtani karmanubandhini. These are the roots born out of your karma and the karma phala. Now see, there are 2 aspects now. The root of the samsara is Parabrahma Paramatma. If you remain in touch with him, you are alive. And in addition to that Parabrahma Paramatma, if you create your own roots in terms of karma and the karma phala, then your abidance in this relative world becomes compulsory, and there is no way that you can get out of it. Therefore, karmanubandhini, karma, dharma, adharma, lakshanam, anubandhaha. पश्चात भावो येषाम उद्भूतिम अनुभवति iti tani karmanubandhini. So when the karma is done, the karma phala comes. When the karma phala is there, it will create compulsion for you to do the karma. And in this manner, anubhavini, after the karma, more and more roots are born and we get tied down in this relative world and we cannot come out. Like most of the people, samsari people say, we want to do this, we want to do that, Swamiji, we want to do, the husband is there, the wife is there, the children are there, the in-laws are there, property is there, I don't know what to do. So they want everything to walk the spiritual path, but other roots are pulling them so much that they just cannot go out. In the same manner, we may want to walk the spiritual path, but our own karma phala born out of the ego goes on pulling us in the relative world. And when it starts pulling us in the relative world, we start justifying that. Therefore, karmanubandhini manushya loke. This is very important. Karma is only for the human beings. तानि कर्मानुबंधेने मनुष्य लोके विशेषतः अत्र ही मनुष्यानाम कर्माधिकारः प्रसिद्धः. Now therefore there are two types of yonis, two types of births. What are the two types of birth? One is the bhoga yoni and second is the karma yoni. Bhoga yoni means where you have no choice but to go through the experiences. Which are those? Lower yonis, below the human beings, and the higher yonis, the devatas, etc. They have no choice. The lower yonis, they have to go through the lower kinds of miseries and tragedies and suffering. And the higher yonis, devata, etc., they go through all the enjoyments and comforts and joys. But they have no choice whether they will discard the limitation of the karma and transcend the relativity and come to the absolute. This choice is only in the human body. Therefore, it is something like, when you have worked very hard and you have got all the comforts around, or you have gone to a place for a vacation, Switzerland, do you think after going there, you are going to go and do meditation? No. We'll go to here, we'll enjoy. There was one girl who came from India to US when I was there. So his mother told, you go to Swamiji, don't go here and there. So she came. Free ticket, so she came. Now after she came, now my all contacts are only spiritual contacts. So she said, Swamiji, I want to go and see, this nightclub, this thing, that thing and all that. I said, look here, I have never gone in my life. And whom will I tell you? Because all those people who come to me, they are spiritual bent. Swamiji, then what I said, where I am going for satsang, you come there. He said, after coming from India to USA only for satsang, that I am fed up. Here also the same thing, I don't want to come. So when you go in the higher world, Swarga, and still higher world, do you think there you will want to know something about God or Paramatma? Meditation, forget about it. Therefore, the only choice we have is only in the human form. And that is why it is said, Karmanubandhini manushya loke. It is only in the human form alone that we are given this opportunity to study the scriptures, to understand. Because in the higher world, who goes? Those who have conquered Surya Sayyaman, he will go to the Surya Lok. And other will go to the Indra Lok. And there, when he goes there, here there are so many people. I thought I am the only one. No, there are many Siddha Purushas. You are not the only one. And then when you go there, among them, you are also one of them. And then you feel yourself glorified. At least I am above the, people in the Martya Lok. Like our Indians washing the dishes and cleaning the houses, feel very great in comparison to India when they are in America. In the same way, there is no difference whatsoever. In this manner, it is only the human form that we have the opportunity to transcend the relativity. To tell this is said, adascha mulanyanu santatani karma anubandhini manushya loke. Remaining we will take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.